Hello and welcome everyone to the 22nd episode of our D&D 5e campaign titled Roaches. And today's recap will be once more done by Lodwick.
Good evening, everyone. So, last time, uh, while the rest of the party was on their way and quite close to Mainstead, um, the two that were left behind awoke at the Duke's mansion. Mel saw that his room was was a room of utter disorder. But anyway, besides that, they had their breakfast, and using the coach, after inquiring what happened with the rest of the party, by asking the personnel of the Duke, they used the carriage that the Duke provided to go to Mainstead. Fortunately, with the carriage and an experienced driver, it went much faster than the other party. And also, Mel, who apprenticed, if I'm not mistaken, in Munstead, um, helped guide along so that Arahant and himself and Hisam could be there quite swiftly. They caught up the party and went ahead towards Mainstead. During that trip, I there and Arhant had a nice discussion about alchemy and stuff related to that. And arriving at the city, they were greeted by a guard at the gates. The guard explained, in short, the situation of the city, which Mel remarked that it changed quite a lot since he was last there. The city, for the moment, has been divided into 5 different districts. And each district is controlled by a leader and his or her henchman or henchwoman and or henchwoman. They can be called guilds, houses, groups, whatever you want. But that's to give you the general gist of what's going on. And every for purpose sake, I will make it easier by saying a house. And each of the 5 houses control several forms of activity and industry within the city. They are as follow. First, we have the Shadow Blades, led by led by Captain Jetila Greygleam, and they control the barracks. She's also an acquaintance of Mel from his time that he spent in the city. So because they control the barracks, I suppose that they also are in charge of keeping the peace and maintaining order. Then we have the chain whirlers. The chain whirlers are led by Rosie Stier, a sorceress, and they control the inns, the taverns, and the breweries of the cities. They have their HQ established in several of those establishments, and some of them are are called the Broken Chain. Another is the Songbird's Cage. You have the Golden Goose, and you have the Sleeping Giant. And the third house of faction are the Skinners. As one would surmise, they control the tanneries and everything pertaining towards leatherworking. Their HQ is called the Old Pigsty. I think it's an inn. or if I
Yeah,
still
it's
remember
an N.
correctly, it's an inn, thank you. And they are led by Cliff the Stitcher, which is an Etin. And for those who are not familiar with D&D, an Etin is a large two-headed giant. Then the fourth house is or are the Bolt Shapers. And they own the mines, the banks, and a small district with many old wizard towers. Their HQ is called the Dragon's Hoard, and their leader is Old Joltmaw. And Old Joltmaw is, yes, a dragon. And then fifth, we have fifth and final is the Church of Absolution. And uh, as you can surmise, they are keeping all the religious buildings and sacred places, and they have them under their wing. Their HQ is called the Harp and Heaven, and they are
Haven.
led by
Harp and
Haven.
Haven. Yeah.
And Haven. Oh, I thought Heaven. Well, I corrected it now in my recap. The Harp and Haven, and they are led by a seraph called Aseroth. By the way, a seraph is in Catholic Church is the highest of the ranking of the angels. So I suppose it must be some kind of high level angel.
I
But
think there may have been some sort of miscommunication.
ah,
I only mentioned that they are led by a seraph. I think you kinda, or by an angel calling
I was
himself
not
the
finished yet.
seraph. The,
No,
I
no.
never said that his name was Azeroth. I think that was just the words and seraph combined
Oh,
accidentally.
well, and I will erase that from my
Mind.
no from my recap. Um, so they are led by a seraph, but of course the seraph does not speak directly and uses a spokesperson, and that spokesperson is a bishop called Jonas Mason. And so we have the five houses that rule the city. There is, I think, an empress above all of them, but I do not know. I don't even know if it has been established that she's the true ruler of the city and maybe the city state, or that she is only a figurehead. But
Uh, she's
but I don't think
kinda
you I
the,
don't think you ever explained that. So maybe it can become relevant later on in the story. Anyhow,
yeah.
um, there's also a park in the center of the city, and that place has been cut off, um, mostly by the Shadow Blades, to the rest of the populace, because in that park era there is some kind of corruption at hand that mutates or changes the inhabitants. And those that are mutated become some kind of blighted creature. Those creatures hunt other residents while they are being hunted themselves. And so, and that is keeping, let's say, a kind of a status quo, so that there are not too many of those mutated beings, but at the other hand, there are not a lot of people, or not an enormous amount of people that are being changed, mutated into those beings. But the first stop they did, that our party did, was with the Shadow Blades, because as I said before, Captain Greygleam, which is a muscular Eladrin, was an old acquaintance of Mel. They secured some lodgings and a place to store their wagon, and Old Bessie. Old Bessie is the cow that was pulling the wagon. The party is determined to solve the corruption, and in doing so, also to help the people of the city to get a more, or to help the people in the city in a more general sense. To better ascertain the current climate within the city, they resolve to visit each of the other 4 districts to gauge how their stance is with the whole situation. First on the list are the chain whirls, as you. Those are the people or the house that controls the breweries, the inns, and things like that. They are met by an Arakokra, Songbird Freddy, and they asked if they could see their leader, the sorcerer's Rosy Stier. Songbird Freddy is inclined to make that happen at the condition that the party does something for chain wheels first. And the thing that have to do is to fetch a book, or specifically a treatise on magic from one of the private collections that is in the Wizard Towers. The problem is the old Wizard Towers are in the district controlled by the Ball Shapers, and the Ball Shapers is the house or faction that is led by old Joltmal the Dragon. But nonetheless, the party agrees to that. They leave the chain whirls, and instead of going right to the district of the Ball Shapers, they are venturing into the district of the Church of Absolution. That's where we ended this session.
Yes. Entering.
So.
So?
Never mind. Yeah, hold on.
The entrance to the district of the Church of Absolution is marked by banners with golden trimmings and how to call it, filigree. And
Yes, indeed.
And there are 2 people in white clothes and masks, also with minor gold trimmings on, or gold colored trimmings on their clothes. Basically observing you, and when you come closer, they just one of them says, "You can come in."
Just like that.
Yeah.
Well,
they're just kind of looking out for people who are like on the blacklist, basically.
Why can't we come in?
He said
No,
you
we-
can come in.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fine.
you can.
Sorry.
Yeah, you can. I'm sorry. I misunderstood.
So give him a nod of acknowledgement and get in.
Arahant will say, "Many happy blessings to you."
I just follow Mel.
So, companions, we're in. What should we do?
No,
Trying to
what
find
we
this bishop?
yeah, what do we immediately see as we go inside?
Oh, what you see? So
buildings.
you are coming past a store selling basically just rings. That's like the first house there. Then on the other side of the streets, there are buildings that are unmarked, so probably residential in nature in some way. And specifically, Arahant and Mel can both give me a perception check. As they look around.
Okay. Let me grab my.
Well, I don't see shit.
Let me grab my character sheet first. I mean, Arhand as a cleric, what could go wrong in a district that is controlled by the church? Oh,
Depends on what
many things.
church.
Yes, indeed, many things could go wrong
Try to beat
if they
that
are
food.
not great. If they are antagonistic against the great catfish of wisdom, it will not be good for Arahant. But hey. But he has a 20 on
Oh.
perception.
Oh, I love that it's you specifically.
Should I be concerned?
Yeah, basically, in your periphery, you see a man in white robes with a very familiar face. Look at your group, and then just run away into an alleyway.
Mm.
Hold on,
And
he
that's
was
familiar.
wearing white
I'm
robes.
assuming you know what face I mean when I say a familiar face.
That one?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
the
The
traumatic
rest
one.
of the party will see Arahant freeze on the place where he stands and and start to become pale and draw his breath in.
Is there
See
something
something?
wrong, my friend?
Maybe one at a time.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
you can
go
ahead.
ahead. No, after you.
I was gonna say, do you see something?
Ghost from the past?
Are you okay, my friend?
No.
You know, I know some people that are very good at hunting down ghosts. But they're probably all being hunted down right now, so they won't be of
No.
any use.
It's someone I had several premonitions about, or some prophetic dreams, and they were all quite taxing to my mind.
Prophetic dreams. That sounds very interesting.
Yeah, no.
What
Well,
happens in those prophetic dreams?
I have them since ever, in fact, but the, the last few months they became worse. In the beginning, it was just a foreboding of a coming storm or something, or they were not always negative. Some were even good. For example, I knew beforehand that we would have a nice harvest, things like that. But on the other side, there were other times that it was quite bad. Anyway, it's a person that did we meet him? That's the player asking the DM. you did meet him in the flesh.
Yes,
think.
you actually.
Was the one who escaped, the one who was imprisoned, that priest-like guy that then escaped.
No, it was the guy who was guarding the cage. And also, you saw that same face again on the bottom of the caverns. The guy with the swan blade. Yes.
With the fleshy wall.
Exactly.
Mm. Well, Arhant will say, do not think that there was already no, because it's just after that we discovered Mr. Fluffins, and then the rest of the party. Well, Mel Sherbert and I have met that person earlier. Mel, do you remember the cave we were in beneath the city of Berg, with all the guild houses, where we had to fight against a cleric type person with several guards and a wall of flesh?
Yeah, I recall.
Well, that cleric guy, that's the one I saw. That's also the one that has been recurring in my dreams. I thought we killed him.
So he's an enemy.
Did he notice you noticing him?
Would I have?
I mean, he kind of looked at you and then ran away.
Okay. I think he did, because we locked eyes for a moment, and then he ran away.
He's definitely gonna be telling what contacts he has in here about us. We either need to go track him down now or lay low.
What's worrying me is when we fought him first, he had clerical abilities, and he did seem to be a kind of a cleric of priest. We are in a district of clerics and priests and acolytes, so I'm not sure if everyone here is to be trusted.
I think we should probably lay low and try to track this guy. Because if he goes to his organization and tells that you are here, it's gonna be very ugly.
Kind of like looking at Arond expectantly, like, so which way did they go?
Well, Arhant is pointing towards the alleyway the guy went through.
Mel will immediately start heading that way.
Yep.
Is some who amongst us, that is Arhant saying this, is skilled at tracking?
Tracking is like survival, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a +4.
I got a +3. I'll try to track that priest.
Well, in that case,
Ah,
And I guess I will attempt to, if I'm allowed to.
um,
But now,
it really must have been a ghost.
what were you trying to say, Aron?
well, Arhant will He will place his hand on your shoulder and say, "May the great catfish of wisdom grant you the necessary wisdom to find what you're looking for." And while doing so, he's clasping his holy symbol and is casting guidance. You have a d4 on your check. You can choose within the first minute to add a d4 to any check you want. Only one.
Jan, am I allowed to roll as well for this?
To roll what?
For survival of the track.
Yeah.
Oh my god, but second two.
Okay, and the
I'll
default.
roll a d4. Hey, it's a 10.
Yes, though, despite your best efforts, you actually managed to find a hint. We're going into that alleyway. On the other side of the alleyway, basically on the other side of the alleyway, there's a bigger road where there's some sort of parade going on. Or parade, congregation, whatever. But there's a huge mass of people walking down the road, all dressed in all white and all masked. Some having incense, censers they are waving around. Others with torches or candelabras. Yeah, they are all moving along that road.
Do they by any chance have burning crosses?
Oh god.
No, and the masks are also not like they don't have the thing on the top.
They're not pointy hats.
And it's not like one big cloak hood thing. It's like basically white priestly clothes, like some sort of cape or mantle with like a white shirt underneath, and
like a sacramental gown and
Yeah.
a porcelain mask in that sense.
They might be
Yeah.
crazy cultists in white gowns, but they're not those crazy cultists in white gowns. But all right, head try to look and see what this procession. Get more details on this procession.
Yes, they going onto the street, you actually see that they all are walking after a person with a way more elaborate robe and mask, who seems to be leading them, and he is also holding a candelabra.
Man, they're all wearing masks, so can't really. Like
Yeah.
the perfect place to disguise yourself in. Just put a mask on.
Yeah, and yes, Arahant, the white robes that they are wearing are basically the same type of white robes that the guy that you saw wore.
So it would be like searching a needle in a haystack.
Basically.
See, like if I could have seen him, I definitely could have like shot him with a ink cartridge or something, or like a painted bolt. Just like splash oil on him, so then it's harder for him to hide that. But alas, I rolled a 2. Twice actually, but
Yes, said procession after a while arrives at like a big place. A big place is not plaza, marketplace, like that kind of place. A big square, but it's a round square. Why are they called squares anyway?
Because they're round.
And proceeds to ignite a huge fireball.
Nice. I mean, I don't
Um,
know the normal procession because Mel's not really a religious guy, so he's like, I guess that's normal.
and he begins to speak. Fear not, my followers, for the seraph shall protect those who are pure of heart. And he takes off his glove, or one of his gloves, and holds the hand into the fire before, like, for a solid 20 seconds before pulling it back out. And then one by one, and then basically the first guy of the procession steps up, and the man in the front says, "If you are pure of heart, then the seraph shall protect you." And that man also takes off his glove, holds his hand into the fire, pulls it out, and then leaves. And that continues with a lot of people actually not being hurt by the fire. Some people severely burning their hands.
Nice.
There is a quota of failure, but yeah, that's basically what happens.
I mean, I can't say that'd be my approach, but don't knock it till you try it, I guess. Oh, what do you all make of whatever this is?
Well, fire. Fire is in many religions is often used as a uh, as a as a symbol of purification.
In other religions, it is used as a symbol of rebirth.
That's true.
I mean, if
In
it's
others, it may be a symbol of strength and will. But I have no clue what these guys are doing.
if it's a ceremony they've done for a while, I don't really see us interrupting it, but it definitely seems a bit foolish to maim people that are in your midst.
Jan, uh, what would Arahant know something about that kind of religious practice or not?
You can give me a religion check.
Can I also try?
You may.
Where is my religion? I do have expertise in it, so let's hope.
That's a 14, and I'm gonna expend a use from a past life to add another 4. So that's gonna be an 18 for me.
And there we have the 26.
I'm a cleric.
And Arahant is a wizard and a cleric.
My guy just has schizophrenic flashbacks.
I mean, both very valid methods of acquiring knowledge, I guess. But yes, Adair would know that there are. It is not a common religious practice, but there is a practice of trial by fire to check the soul for impurities in some religions. And our hand would actually know that those are very common in the uh, or more to be more precise, these specific rights are very common or directly associated with the followers of Alathiel, who is the Archangel of Conquest.
Can you spell in the chat the name, please, so that I can? Alathiel. Okay.
Yes. And yeah, then
Well,
that's kind of it.
well, apparently they're followers, or at least believers, of Archangel of Conquest.
In that moment, you just see Adrien completely spacing out. They seem like trouble. Is that right, Frederick? And he just talks to the air. The others can't see it, but for me, just a memory flashes by and I see a guy in front of me.
Adair. Who is Frederick?
Oh, you haven't met Where did he go? I haven't even... Who is Frederick, actually? I have no clue. Anyways.
You were just
What?
speaking of a Frederick, as if you were talking to a Frederick, calling him Frederick.
You know, for a second, I was in a cave, and there was a guy sitting in front of me with markings on his arms, teaching me something and telling me about this religion. And then I was back here. But who is Frederick?
You don't know. Just the
Anyways,
name you said. So
if the
anyway,
school will...
So,
what shall we do, my fellow companions?
If they believe in the Archangel of Conquest, they might be very troublesome and aggressive. So I think we should lay low.
Problem is just knowing what sort of network he's got set up here and within the midst of this group. And since that he already knows our presence and has gotten away for the most part, they'll have
That
the
is
drop on
very
us.
that is very problematic, isn't it? I think we should prioritize getting that book and staying off the main streets
Well,
for a while.
to get that book, we have to go to another district, not this one.
Wait, do we have a map of the districts?
no.
Uh,
I think what would be our best bet? Which one to go for next?
Mel, you apprenticed here, so I suppose you would know those books are in the old wizard towers. I suppose you would know which way to go towards those old wizard towers.
I mean, depending on how the city's laid out, you could probably just see the towers.
There are also some very high buildings in the. Yeah, you probably could. You can.
Nah, I'll just
The
point
most
them out.
direct way would be like right past the procession.
No. Hmm. Well, I mean, if you look up there, that's the tops of them. Just a matter of getting past this procession, and then past that, it's either directly communicating with the dragon and trying to work out a deal, or God forbid, try to sneak past under his watch and get a book.
Trying to sneak past a dragon.
I mean, I don't recommend it, but it is an option.
If we had the power of those cultists of being immune to the fire, we would probably come out unscathed.
My good Adair, know that there are different kinds of dragons. Not all of them are breathing fire.
I know that, for example, blue dragons breathe electricity, but in grassy plains like this, some gold, bronze, or maybe even red dragons, I think, are most common. Even though I think bronze dragons usually live in deserts and mountains.
In any case, we can head that way and make our decision as we go.
We can circumvent the procession and
Yeah.
go through several alleyways
Are there
whilst,
any? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
whilst making our way towards the wizard towers and district of the. See if I'm saying them right. Towards the ball shapers.
Yes.
Yeah. Are there any like non-involved people around the procession, like people watching it?
Yeah, there are a few.
Okay, so it's not completely out of the ordinary for us to.
What we could probably do, but it's probably also the worst idea, is to cause a commotion somewhere in the distance. The procession would direct attention to that, and in the meantime, we can slip by.
Mm.
It's a lot of work. Just circumvent it.
I mean, the best possible way to circumvent it is probably just sneak by between the spectators. But if we get caught, it could get pretty ugly.
Why should we be? Why should we be caught if we're
If that,
just playing spectators?
fair enough.
No, it's not a situation where like the more you try to hide yourself, the more apparent you make yourself.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, hiding in plain sight. DM, a question. Um, those those guys in with their masks and their white robes, do they have some kind of holy symbol or something like that?
Um,
Or is it just their, the thing they're wearing that is denoting their faith? Um,
they you do see a few symbols of swords with of burning swords with heart-shaped handles.
And besides those, are there does he see other holy symbols or not? With that, I mean holy symbols that would be associated with other faiths than the one of the archangel.
Symbol? No, you wouldn't see symbols of other faiths.
Mhm. So in that case, he will tuck his holy symbol of the great catfish of wisdom underneath his robes, and
I guess we just make our way into the crowd.
I
Yes.
will take off my mask in that case.
You will take off your.
Quick question. Do I have my potion ready on hand?
Ooh, the potion you literally. Um. Yes.
Okay, good. I just want to ask because I do not have it checked in D&D Beyond. Okay. So yeah, I will start going through the crowd, keeping my hand on the potion.
Yes. And as you walk past the crowd or through the crowd, you hear the priest is sermonating a word or holding his sermon. And he says, "For those who are marked by the fire today, meditate on the pain as you flush out your sins. For those who are unharmed, you shall prepare your souls for the hunt into dawns."
Wait, the hunt is in 2 days?
Yeah, that's why we're still kind
I
of.
think you. Wait, did you sleep? Did you sleep once?
I don't think we've slept yet.
Oh, then it would be in 3 days.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I think we just secured our lodging. I don't think we actually
yeah,
slept.
Yeah.
indeed, we only secured it. We did not rest. We arrived somewhere in the morning, I think. So morning, or at the very least around midday. So
Do I see any suspicious clerics?
No, you wouldn't see suspicious clerics.
Like, um, let me rephrase. Clerics that are for some reason looking around or a bit nervous.
No.
Ah, okay. Mm.
Continue making our way through unless we are impeded by some means.
do we manage to walk through, and circumvent the procession, or not, my
Um,
dear GM?
you managed to circumvent the procession, yes.
Okay, let's keep on going.
Yes, indeed.
And here's
It's maybe best that we do not speak with that bishop, at least not for the moment, because if somehow he is tied to that that priest I saw, and the one that Mel Sherbert and I fought and defeated, it could be maybe the bishop is in league with him, so we should avoid this district and leave it as soon as possible.
I completely agree.
We can always return later on, but for the moment, let's try to go to the district of the ball shapers.
Yes, and the district of the Bowl Shapers. On your exit, you once again see masked masked people standing guard, and as you enter the territory of the Bowl Shapers, you see you see four kobolds just kind of lounging around, just watching. Yeah, watching the entrances of the said district or the nearby entrances.
Do they notice us coming?
Yes, they look you over for a moment and then they just continue slacking off.
All right. Well, then. Like, do we ask the kobolds? Which one of them looks to be the most ranked member of them?
One of them actually has like wears an actual armor and shield, so most likely him.
Okay. As we pass, I'll try to address him.
Yes.
Yes. I was wondering what the proper channels to seek an audience with. What was the name again?
Sorry, my mom just came in. Where are we exactly?
You're currently talking to a kobold at the entrance to the Bowl Shapers district.
Oh,
I'm
sorry,
gonna
what was
put
the
my
name?
mask pass on.
Very well.
I'm blanking on it. Oh, seek an audience with old Joltmaw about a possible arrangement.
I'd say you should ask around for Jacques. He's the head servitor around here.
Does he have a particular area he likes to frequent?
I think I just saw him walk into the Dragon's Hoard.
Right,
And where
what direction
exactly?
would that be? No, yeah.
And where exactly is this dragon's hoard?
Just go right through, then left, then right, then left, then left, then right, and then you have it. There's a big sign in front of it. Can't miss it.
Okay, so wait, left and right, then right and left, then left and right,
Yes.
right? Okay, thank you very much.
We'll attempt to follow those directions. Yes.
Yes, you make your way to the through the maze-like city structure, and following his directions to the best of your abilities, you actually come upon a building with a huge sign saying the Dragon's Horde.
Nice.
It looks to be a
So
tavern.
it's oh,
Yeah.
that explains a lot.
Yeah, I figured that's what it would be.
I thought
I know what
already,
you were
how do we actually go here without being suspicious because it's the Dragon's Horde?
Yeah. Is any patrons on the outside right now?
There are a few sitting around on the outside tables. Some are currently just drinking. There are two kobolds currently discussing the applications of the Thunderclap spell and how good it is at replacing a knock on a door.
I mean,
You
yeah, if you're
know,
wanting to really announce your presence
the
and
only
blow down the
real
door.
application, the only real application to Thunderclap is to clap some cheeks, honestly. I love that jokes.
I guess I could ask them. Do you know of a head servitor Block? However you pronounce that. Glock?
Jalak.
Jalak?
Jalak.
Okay, actually, the J is a J.
Yeah, he's inside. He's currently, I think he's currently waiting for, food for Joltmore.
Okay. Thank you. And,
Those were kobolds that were discussing the merits of replacing or using Thunderclap as a replacement for what?
For
A
knocking on
lock or
doors.
not?
Or
For
the
knocking on
general
doors.
applications.
A general application.
You know, knocking on doors, maybe as a replacement for like a signal sound, stuff like that.
Not just what is it called? Asserting your presence, but also dominance.
Well,
yeah, it's unless you want to discuss with them something.
Just to be sure that I am not saying anything stupid. Okay. I was quite sure that I have it, and yes, I do. Arahant will say to those that were discussing it in Draconic, well, you know, Thunderclap could be used in that capacity, but it will not be very subtle. There are other means.
Other means?
Yes.
What do you mean?
I do not know if the of Mel and Adair also understand Draconic.
Nope, I have no idea what you're saying. You're just making lizard noises.
So that you would hear something like
Yeah.
something like this.
This isn't the first time you've gone off in some random language. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Are you okay, Arahant? Are you having a stroke, my friend?
He does that.
Oh.
Well, but
very interesting.
if still against those, maybe not for the moment because I have some business to attend to. But later on, we could discuss. I am a practitioner of the arcane arts. We could discuss those things any further. Maybe explore other options. Still in Draconic.
You mean like Thunder Wave?
Honestly, Fireball is more suitable.
You also have, if you're going for impact, you can go with knock. It will
Ah,
not destroy. It will not destroy things, but it will make you hear or be heard. Thunderclap and Thunderwave tend to destroy also, unless you want a forceful entrance, and whilst doing so, declaring that you are entering, declaring your presence. Then yes, Thunderclap and Thunderwave would be very useful.
yes. I I think I think I agree with you. Yeah, it makes sense. Yes, I agree. Um. So, what other spells can you tell us of?
It depends what kind of spells you want. Flashy ones, introspective ones, subtle ones, those that can control the mind.
Ooh, controlling the mind. That sounds great.
Yes.
Mm.
But as I said, we as you have heard, my one of my fellow companions here, we are trying to have an appointment, if possible, with Jalak, with head servitor Jalak.
Yes.
So maybe after that, or later on the day, or somewhere in the evening, we could continue our discussion.
Yes, that sounds great. I would love to. Yes.
Excellent. Well, in that case, have a nice day, and until later. And Arahant will make a polite bow,
Farewell, withered friend.
and he will rejoin the party.
Yeah, seeing
Quite
that his,
interesting.
yep.
What would you say, Mel or
I,
Justin?
I was just saying, seeing the conversation is over now that the draconic speech has stopped. Are we good to go inside?
Yes, yes. It was an interesting discussion. One that I might continue this evening.
I'd go inside to try to find this guy.
I know you're not very fond of magic, Mel. I know.
Yeah, not at all. And then the fact that like just imagining it as the outsider perspective of just hearing the conversation and not understanding. It's like, yeah, all right. But
You
anyways,
inside of the tavern, you see a few humans, kobolds, dragonborn, mingle behind the bar. There also is a dragonborn, and the person with the most how would you call it, fancy, you have the most fancy clothing and accessories uh, seems to be. I mean, he kind of looks similar to a dragonborn, but you've never seen one with such full horns and with actual wings. He, he also uh, he also has blue scales.
okay.
Oh,
I guess we'll walk up to him then. What is he doing presently?
Um, he's currently sitting on a table where there seems to be. he basically has an opened sack lying there where there's currently a bunch of different fruits and cuts of meat stacked inside of it.
Okay. Hello there. I was told that we could find a person by the name of Head Servitor Deloc. You seem to fit the bill to a certain extent.
Yes, that would be me. That would be me. Yes.
Pleasure. My name is Mel. I was told that you would be the one able to possibly arrange a meeting with old Joltma and hope to discuss a transaction of sorts.
Yes. What kind of transaction?
A trade of an item for some service or something that Joltma may request.
And and how do we know of the quality of the services you provide?
Um,
How do you, unless you're like a part of a mercenary order or something, how do you like, hey, I'll do this?
Do you have any qualifications?
well, we have defeated a cave once. I pull out bottles with the mimic cave.
You were seeing Arahant doing something like.
Well, personally, I'm an artisan and a craftsman that's now taken up adventuring.
Ooh, are
And
you of what guild are you?
you always ask me these things. I was, I still don't have a name for it, though, is the problem. But involved in making bows and crossbows and all that fun stuff, woodworking.
Ah. I mean, those art services that might. You know what? We kind of have a vacancy in our schedule anyway. But I don't think you want to talk to her before dinner. She sometimes is kind of grumpy. So I think it would be best if you waited with me for or waited until after I brought her food.
All right. When typically does she take her dinners?
In about an hour.
All right. I mean, we could go with you or wait here, whatever be most convenient to you.
You may just come after me.
All right then.
And after a while, the innkeeper, or probably not the innkeeper, actually a barmaid or whatever, starts to bring out different different custards and cakes and how are those called? Anyway, made with stuff mostly made with fruit and dairy. And as that all is being put in that bag or sack, the man or the half dragon pays the innkeeper and leaves and motions you to follow him.
Get the attention of Arand and Adair to follow as well.
He gets up, goes in. You're basically going into the second story of the tavern.
Okay.
He then proceeds to he then motions for you to turn away as you're standing before a door.
Turn away.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit.
Just turn
odd.
around.
All right. I'll reluctantly comply with a kind of a questioning face.
Arhant will whilst turning say, "Do not worry, Mel. It's probably a sign or token to show respect, something like that."
And then he says, "You can turn around now."
Okay.
And the door has been opened.
Oh, okay. Like him putting in some secret code. Okay, that makes more sense. I was confused. I was like, what?
You then
All right.
come into a massive hall, probably around twice the size in all dimensions of the tavern proper, which is dominated by the form of a massive blue dragon.
Mhm.
Oh, Arahant, you were right. This one does not spit fire.
Yeah. We're still supposed to wait for her to get her food and stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I will not engage with them right now.
Yeah. He whispers something into the dragon's ear. The dragon lifts one of her claws as in the hallway you're standing in. Chairs appear behind you, and then they he tells you to wait and closes the door for now.
Take a seat on one of the chairs.
What kind of chairs did the dragon summon?
They have a wooden frame but have red upholstery. Is upholstery the correct? Yeah, basically red, like the pillows built into the wooden frame. Those kind of chairs.
Yeah.
Ah,
Oh, wait without directly watching the dragon eat. Is pretty rude?
Well, whilst we're waiting, Arhant will also not focus on on seeing her eat by pulling out his spell book and going through it and reading several passages from it. And
Adrain will pull out some very stale bread that has also developed some mold and start munching on it.
Yes, after about 20 minutes, the door opens again and Jalak lets you in.
Get up and follow him where we gotta go, and just now turn to face the dragon.
Yes, and the dragon speaks with a thunderous voice. Welcome, visitors.
Hello
I've-
there.
I've heard you're here to propose a deal.
And what a deal we have for you.
And what shall I offer you?
Okay. Well, we have heard that you have a book of sorts that an employer is interested in, and I was wishing to see if you'd be willing to trade that book for some sort of service on our part.
And what would that object be? That book be?
My lady, it would be a treatise on magic.
Okay, there are a lot of those.
Yes, I know.
Um,
With all due respect.
what kind of magic?
I didn't write that down in my
No.
in my because I try not to write everything at verbatim, or else it will
It-
take 2 hours to make an entire recap.
I think it would be
Um,
recent enough that I would remember.
Yeah, it's about the
Yes.
magic of the realm of dusk. And
It's about
yeah, and the different kind of regions and effects there.
well, it would be about the realm of dusk and and several phenomena that would be related to being in such a realm or in that realm.
The realm of dusk. Ooh, I know of I know what book you mean, and I know of a fitting task. You see, I have lost something that once was mine, and it currently resides in said realm of dusk. An old crone once stole my shadow. And if you shall best it and bring it back, you shall have your book.
When she mentions the shadow, like I would like my eyes would like glance to see, like look for her shadow.
The dragon does not have a shadow.
How does one lose a shadow?
It's
I
an
can
old.
understand losing an arm, like going around for a walk and then you just lose your arm, but a shadow?
It's an old and foul magic practiced by some of the hags of the dusk plane.
So you mean it's like a curse?
Yes.
Okay.
And to break the
Well-
curse, we have to kill the caster.
No, you have to best the shadow and bring it back to me. Let me. And she then whispers something into Jacques' ear, and Jacques disappears.
disappears
how
because she did something to him, or he goes
He
somewhere?
goes away.
Okay, I was like, shit. Your service is no longer needed. Poof.
Um,
You're going to Brazil, my friend. Poof.
Yes. Would you have?
GM,
Oh, go ahead.
Mhm.
uh, just say with a yes or a no. I'm already happy, but would in his many years of study, would Arhant know something about rituals involving stealing shadows and things like that? And if so, for what purpose or what power possessing a shadow could, or what benefits would grant someone or something possession of a shadow of another being?
Give me an Arcana.
Okay. Arcana. Where is my Arcana? Under the 8, of course.
These low rolls today.
Yeah, well, you know what? I do have a +10 on it. I will use one portent die.
I think at this point you could tell me anything about what your portent dice are, and I would believe it. Oh no, I think they are up here. They are an 11 and a 6, right?
Yes, and
Okay.
I'm taking the 11, so +10 it makes 21.
Yeah. So there are multiple ways to use a shadow. For example, for purpose of animating it and creating the undead creature known as a shadow.
Hmm?
Then there's for use as an ingredient or to sell it to the night hags who are known to have some to use it for some of their potions and magical items. And lastly, there is a ritual of banishment that prevents you from ever entering specifically the plane of dusk and dawn as long as your shadow remains in there.
Arahant will say, my lady, um, which the hags or the hag that stole your shadow, to your best knowledge, would she have done it to either use your own shadow to create a, a being out of it, or more to prevent yourself for accessing the plane of dusk?
She wanted to prevent me from getting to her, yes.
And how exactly do we get to this plane of dusk? Because I only know about the planes that they are hard to access through one another.
There is some difficulty to it. I could open a portal, though though without permission from a representative of the Queen of Shadows, that might go against our contract regarding the city.
Do I know who the Queen of Shadow is?
You would only know that she was mentioned before as the ruler of the city and as basically the boss or the sovereign of
Munstead.
the captain. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. So for this, we'd have to get the permission from the sovereign over the captain that we already know. Hey,
So
yeah, you can open the portal.
theoretically speaking, if we would go and get permission, would you open a portal for us to this plane?
Yes, I would. I mean,
Oh, okay.
I want you to get something from there. Why would I not?
No.
Just a question.
I understand you would want it taken care of as soon as possible, but is there any amount of time sensitivity to it? I know that the hunt or whatever is supposed to be occurring here soon. I don't know your.
I don't expect you to get it done before the hunt.
Okay.
And
Does the sovereign have any, how do I say, anything against you using a portal? Would she have any? I don't know how to
Reservations?
phrase this right. Yeah.
She fancies herself a guardian of that plane. And she can sometimes be hard to deal with, especially when trying to get any type of artifacts or pieces of knowledge from there.
So it will not be possible just to go to her and ask for permission.
Likely not.
Does she have any needs, for example, that we could satisfy? For example, do we need to find something for her as like with you, or does she need anything else?
I mean, you could probably, if you find any information on on what on the, how would you call it, the creature she's guarding, then you might find her in a more pleasant mood.
She is hiding a creature.
From what I understand, yes.
Are there any leads to find out information about this creature?
Now, get ready for the fun part. That
Oh
creature
no.
is trapped in the plane of dusk.
Uh,
Yeah, we gotta get there to find out about the thing there. The way we can get permission to go there.
I mean, maybe if you can just prove your trustworthiness, she will let you go there for a reconnaissance mission, and then you can just grab my shadow on the way.
Wait, so if it is known that she's guarding a creature, someone in the city must know what the creature is. So find that person and find out what the creature is. Through interrogation, probably. Then we could probably get access.
Well, yeah, we accept your terms. We'll have to figure out how to maneuver to get to the point of portal hopping.
Then,
Does the Queen of
oh, you may speak.
does the Queen of Shadows have any close servants that might know of this creature?
She's usually pretty close with. I mean, she was close with the old mayor.
So the old
Probably
mayor
with
is he?
the nobility of the cities of the cities under her reign.
And that old mayor, is he in town or is he somewhere else?
I don't. He's not in town anymore.
Do you know about his whereabouts?
No.
Uh, I think we got the bulk of the information we need to proceed from here.
I
Thank
agree.
you. Thank you for your time and for the opportunity to come to an arrangement with you.
The pleasure was mine.
Give her a respectful bow and and well, if with that we'll bid you adieu.
Until then. And she lifts her hands and the door opens.
Head on out.
You realize that if you wanted to, you might very well just be trapped in this room.
Yeah, I just understood.
Yeah.
Yes, as you leave, the door closes behind you.
When they are outside and the door closes behind them, Arahant would say to the other twos, I can also open and close doors with a flick of my hand, you know. Nothing special.
So,
I
my
understand, but
friends,
I think there's more the case of the door being closed with a giant dragon that may
it is,
cause some
it is
nervousness.
probably it is probably heavier than a normal door.
In any case, we managed to.
I know some of you are not very fond of magic, but my magic is quite powerful if I want to. Let's leave it at that.
Yes, but we
I do
managed
not
to
doubt you.
talk face to face with a dragon and come out with our skin still attached. So take that as a win.
So, friends, what is our next course of action?
Okay, who wanted the book initially?
The book was wanted by the chain whirlers.
Oh yeah, the Eric Akra.
Bye. Yeah,
Not by him, but he's the intermediary for us.
yes, about their leader, the sorcerers, Rosie Stier.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stier.
Yep. So now the only ones we haven't contacted are the church guys with the bishop, but that's because now we think that they may be compromised. And then the Tanners or Skinners.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, which some common ground could maybe be made as craftsmen, but I don't know how I feel about that. But I guess I already talked with the dragon and lived, so how bad could the end be?
But there's certainly some truth to that.
So,
Yes,
what do you guys think?
I also would probably say that we should take a break here.
Okay.
Sure.
Like, yeah, it's been like an hour and 30 minutes, so
About 140.
This one,
Yes, you
yes.
shall.
And we're back. Yeah. So, you just left that room. And I think you wanted to make your way to the Skinners.
Nah, it's the only ones we haven't
Yes, that
explicitly
was the
tried to
plan.
check out.
Yes, making your way to the Skinners district, that one is guarded by two. You would assume they are ogres. They are kind of missing the usual gut that an ogre has. They are dressed in relatively simple leather jackets with cloth belts in different colors tied around their waists and staring forward undeterred.
Would they have their waist?
Cloth belts.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Hello there, how are you doing today?
The same as last day. What is it that you want?
So how were you doing last day? We are here to see the leader of the Skinners. Wait, what is his name? I cannot find the name of the Atin.
With this teacher.
Yes, that guy.
He should be hanging out around. Should be right now hanging out in the back of the pigsty.
And what
And
direction would the pigsty be from here?
It's basically just along the center road.
Okay, then.
okay, thank you very much.
Along your way there, you come past different workshops of different artisans, each headed by ogres of the same stature, as the ones guarding, and though a lot of the menial labor seems to be done by normal ogres.
Very
Yes.
peculiar.
With my craftsman eye, what kind of stuff are they doing?
It seems to be of the craft usually seems to be of decently high quality, although it's not like they're making any like unique legendary artifact things, but it seems to be good enough.
Okay.
Arahant will ask to his two companions, remind me again why we're here in this particular district.
At this point,
You
just
know,
figuring out how each group operates, how their leaders are.
I think we should get acquainted to all the leaders and maybe make a good bond with them, because then maybe the queen will see that we have contributed to the city and let us use the portal of the dragon to go into the dusk plane.
Possibly sussing out any weaker links or those that wouldn't play nicely at the table with everyone else.
Yes. The tavern seems to be made out of old converted stable. You would assume it would be a pigsty, but there's no actual physical proof except for the sign. In front of it stand two creatures of, I think it's huge size. Let me double check real quick. No, they're actually of medium size. Okay. Of medium size. Almost. They look similar to humans, though with empty eyes and stitch marks covering their body, and they wear nothing except for loincloth.
Do they have any weapons on them?
They don't have any weapons on them.
What do they seem to be doing? Just standing there?
Standing in front of the tavern.
Menacingly.
Menacingly.
Like,
They look to be
at first
some kind of bouncer.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were like bodyguards or something.
I mean, not too big of an extrapolation. But, yeah, I guess see how they act whenever we walk up to the door.
They look you up and down once. Then one speaks from its chest. We have expected you.
You did?
Yes.
No. Alright then.
You may enter.
Things a bit easier. Thank you. Head on in.
If someone wants, they can give me an arcana to check what kind of creatures that were.
I'll try Arcana.
Let's add that fucking cliff.
Oh,
So, I guess that there and our heart would both know that those would be flesh golems.
wait, what?
Flesh golems.
Yeah.
Yeah, understood.
However,
Say, Arahant, aren't golems usually made by thaumaturgy?
No, unless thaumaturgy, unless you interpret thaumaturgy as being the ability to make wonders and miracles.
Well, thaumaturgy is usually enchanting and that sort of stuff. And I have heard of thaumaturge mages using enchantments to animate rocks into golems.
That's possible, yes. But you can also create constructs either from flesh, metal,
Wood, paper.
So
paper, indeed, mud. I remember that maybe there was even something a very long time ago that someone was able to make a construct out of beer or something like that.
I think I've heard something about dough, like gingerbread dough.
It must be an old crone or an old hag. Yes.
Well, as we go inside, what?
The most dangerous
But
golem, the gingerbread golem.
Yes, indeed.
but Arrowhead, I think we should be a bit cautious of strong mages here, just to be safe. Mel, that you too.
Not only that, but I find it worrying that we are expected.
As do I.
I'm a bit more worried that they're made out of flesh.
Oh, look, we have at least Sherbot, Mel, and I have fought against demon-like beings that resembled insects and cockroaches. We have fought against literal swarms of cockroaches that were taking everything that was organic. We have we have we have seen devils, demons. I mean, we even talked to a dragon.
You have seen a lot of
At this
things. I have
moment,
never encountered these cockroaches before.
Hmm?
I have never encountered these cockroaches before. So they
It
eat
was
only organic things.
it was before we met you.
Oh, but what do they leave behind? Do they just leave behind the mud and stone, or
I know everything that was organic: food, clothing, crops, even wooden furniture and things like that.
that is horrible? Anyways, let's head inside.
Yes, on the inside, you see multiple ogres drinking, and on one especially long table, at the head of the table, sits an Aten. The Aten is dressed in blue gowns, and they bear a symbol signifying a man of a medical profession.
Okay.
Medical profession.
Did they
Okay.
motion us over?
As he sees you enter, he motions you over to a table.
I'll acknowledge it with a nod and then head his way.
Ah, you're finally here. We've, we're quite insulted that you chose us last on your little tour.
Just the way the cards fell.
I guess there's some truth to that. Then, why did you want to speak with me?
I just wanted to get the full picture of your operation as well as your temperament and come to understand you more than just your name.
Then, I guess I'll play with open cards. if you're willing to as well.
I mean, I can go into things with an open mind.
Then, as you might notice, I am a man of magical talents, and I also am specializing in the creation of constructs. And what you might also notice is that I am slightly more present up here than most of my kin.
So the flesh golems outside were made by you?
Indeed. Useful things they are. Do you like them?
Well, I think they were made quite well. What kind of spells did you use to make them?
Oh, it. I guess I promised to play with open cards. There is no direct spell behind it. It requires careful rituals, a particular codex, and a bunch of expensive materials, as well as obviously the flesh of a decent quantity of animals. Or if you want to, humans.
Quite interesting.
I can't say that I'm much in the arcane arts or really have much of a temperament, good temperament towards them. But you seem well spoken enough. What's your overall take on everything? What's your goals and the whole cityscape?
I mean, my goal is the same as everyone else's. Though they mightn't have not told you that yet. You know, the thing in the city center. The corruption in the park. It's actually caused by an old druidic spirit. A spirit embodying one of the primal aspects of nature. One that me and my kin are very intimately familiar with. It's a spirit of hunger. It intensifies the hunger of those around it until they fall back into a primitive state. And what it also does, it leaves behind some of the, you could call it the distilled magical essence of hunger, with which many things can be done or sated. It can help. It can help you with your. It can either free you from your hunger or give you control over it, shaping it so it may assist you. And we're not just talking about hunger in the basic sense. It might also help you with your hunger for power, knowledge, recognition. And that is what we are harvesting here. As you can see, or as you may know, my kin, referring to Ettins as well as ogres, are afflicted with a deep unnatural hunger from birth. It is said to be an old curse once put upon our forefathers, and this magic can be used to free oneself from it. And that's why I'm here.
And I take it that's why you, as well as the rest of your kin around, have a more amenable disposition than others of your kind.
Yes. History books say that before that curse, us ogres once ruled a great and powerful kingdom, though it fell to ruin as its inhabitants proceeded to eat each other.
Well, given your intimate knowledge of the spirit at work or the powers that be, do you know of ways to mitigate or otherwise avoid the effects if one were to be closer to the core?
The effect, it is less likely to affect those who are strong of mind and strong of body, and seeps in more slowly into those. Though one shall never be as foolish as to think oneself immune from it.
Of course.
Another cure or antidote would be the fruit that is grown from the essence of hunger. Though it is only given out to those who exceed in the hunt. And most of the leaders want to keep it to themselves.
Naturally.
Mm.
Well, you have us here. Was there anything that you were in particular wanting to discuss with us, other than getting acquainted with
So
each other?
I take you are not just here for the hunt, are you?
We have bigger ideas, yes. The possibility of taking care of that corruption problem entirely.
An agent saw that man, and he points at our hunt, show quite a lot of concern at the sight of a member of the third congregation. What is up with that?
Be something I'd more so allow him to explain, as I only get what he tells me about it, as he is the one that experienced it. I look around.
Our hunt?
Yes.
You were just spoken to.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
And as player, I'm thinking. Arahant will say, I have been schooled in wizardry, and I am a wizard. Although my school of magic and specialization is more in the ways of divination, and that has been stirred by the fact that from an early age I have been either plagued or blessed, depending on the opinion of the other, by visions and premonitions and things like that. And the person you're referring to has been present in many of my prophetic dreams and premonitions. Some of them, if not all of them, including nightmares. So we also encountered him, and we managed to destroy him, or to kill him. And I was quite surprised to see that he was still alive.
I think I know of whom you speak. Or, I mean, I know that I know of whom you speak because I saw that man as well.
You
A
also
few
have
weeks ago, he went through town trying to make people offers. He offered them ways to tear down the other guilds and or the other houses, so one could claim the source of hunger for themselves.
What?
I see. Quite interesting.
So that guy that walks around, he wants to tear down the other guilds.
Yes,
Has he?
I guess that he made his offer to everyone. He just, I'm suspecting he wants to tear down the city structure as a whole.
And
But who would be interested in that?
And when on that moment, Arahant will uh, well, doing what I'm doing now, so um, caressing his chin, and whilst doing so, point a finger in the direction of first of Mel and then to Adair or Adair, and just say one word through the encrypt message, and it will be Akeshigal.
Mm.
Yes or not. He doesn't say yes to you. He just says yes to what kind of. It's a pondering yes in response to the questions. What
It's
kind of.
possible. It's possible that he has detect thoughts active, or a way to read minds, and then he would be able to to listen in because Arahant has not protected his mind against mind reading. So
He just says, yes, that would be the big question. From what I've gathered, they seem to be in service of some kind of demonic entity. But from the lack of surprise in your faces, I'll assume that you already know that.
well,
And intimately acquainted with aspects of that, unfortunately.
well, my good sir, I am taking a leap of faith here. And Arhant is smirking a bit. And scratching his robes because underneath it he has his holy symbol. Um, you said you would play open cards with us,
Yes.
and I'm taking a leap of faith here in the sense that you were kind enough to be open about your intentions, and so will I about ours. I know that maybe some of my companions will not be very happy with this because we're placing ourselves in a position of vulnerability. Uh, but maybe we could also gain uh, allies in in the both of our parties or organizations. But you're talking about the hunger. There is a cult of Akishigal active, which is a demon lord, particularly associated with hunger in many aspects, but mostly the aspect of consuming things. It's also associated, and one of its goals is tearing down the fabric of civilization and society, and thus bringing everything to ruin and to a more primal state of being, which would fit well with the fact that that priest, or that we suppose it's a priest, was trying to make propositions about tearing down ruling system, structures, civilization, and things like that. And we have taken upon ourselves to try to put a stop to that cult and everything that is around this or is connected with it. So now that we have learned that corruption in the center of the park uh, is probably linked to that, or could be a possible catalyst for something else or something later happening. We were already on the way to, or we already had the intention of stopping it, but if it right now it becomes more and more higher, um, becomes a high priority to do so.
So, I think I've heard you say that you thought you had already killed that man.
That's right.
Then I have some information that may be of use to you. This man, he seemed to be in many places at once. I have had agents report him in as much as 3 different places in the city at once.
Mm. So you're saying he has means to make doppelgangers or otherwise move around quickly.
But that is the most I know of his nature. So I guess it would now be a priority to find out who might have taken that deal, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that seems the most due course of action.
Yes, sadly I do not know anything about that. My agents are not able to infiltrate the other leaders' private chambers or anything like that. And such discussions are rarely made in the open.
Would you have some suspicions?
I do. I assume you do too. I could swear that or I have the strong suspicion that the bishop took the offer, and I have seen some suspicious activities and gathering of materials by the chain whirlers.
Mm.
Well, that about the bishop, that was also my first thought. Seeing that the person was wearing priestly robes, and I we encountered him again, or at least I saw him again, in the district of the Church of Absolution. So that was my first thought. You are now confirming what I supposed.
Then I think we are on the same page in terms of information on this matter.
Seems like it for the most part.
Do you have any other questions?
Not really, no.
Mhm. What's your proposal of things? What are you looking to get out of this?
Out of what?
I mean, our discussion, or at the overall series of events.
Well, ultimately, you would like to be able to be completely to either control or completely be freed from the hunger that was bestowed upon your races by your ancestors.
Yes, I would. My goal with this is to maintain a certain stability between, in terms of the current circumstances of the city, and to stay in a position where I can access that magic.
Mm-hmm. Well, as long as groups play nice, we're pretty supportive of it.
Yeah, that would be my ideas or my involvement with this. If there are no more questions, then you may either stay to eat or leave as it's already late.
I think we should probably take our leave. I guess you could get in contact with us if you needed to.
Indeed. Then I bid you well.
You as well.
Thank you for your hospitality and your openness. Have a good night.
You as well.
Mm.
And I'm assuming you then start moving towards your lodgings.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
We got a
While
lot to
walking,
mull over about.
while walking towards our lodgings, Arahant will say, we're in a bit of a bind here. He suspects either the bishop to have acquiesced to that deal, but he also suspects the chain wheelers or chain whirlers. The chain whirlers is the guild of the house that is being run by the sorceress Rosie Steer. She's the one that, through Mr. Songbird, wants to have that book. That book we can eventually get if the dragon is, if we help the dragon go into another realm to get her shadow back. But to get into that realm, we need the approval of the Queen of
Shadows.
Queen of Shadows. Thank you. So what do we do? Because apparently, as far as I can say, he's the that Etin was the most trustworthy, or maybe not trustworthy, but the most what is the word again?
Cooperative?
Forthcoming of his intentions. And he does, as I did, suspect the clergy, but also um, but also the sorcerers. and we haven't had the opportunity yet to speak with her. Because speaking with her would mean to access that book. But access that book means getting back the shadow, which means getting the approval of the Queen of Shadows.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting a headache. I'm getting a headache.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of moving parts on this one, as well as the encroaching hunt, as well as the overall corruption in the park.
And then the fact that I'm not surprised that the cult of Akishigal would like to possess that seed of hunger, seeing as Akishigal is all about hunger on one side and tearing down civilization and organized structure on the other.
Mm-hmm. Lot them all over and decide what direction we're going to want to take with this.
Mm.
Just heading towards our lodging and then seeing if
Well,
anything crazy happens.
I would
well,
say you. Yes, Armand?
well, when they're walking towards their lodgings, Arahant will say, "I suppose we go past, or we're in the we get near the vicinity of the ball shapers."
Ah, you still want to have your discussion on magic.
Well, I promised those two kobolds, so it would be rude not to
Nah,
not to
Mel
come.
has no interest in it whatsoever.
So Arahant will say, if we're not that too far from that part of the city, he will say, I will follow you. I will come later on the night to the inn. I have an appointment to that I would like to respect.
I
Just
understand.
be careful. We don't know who's all on what side or where their agents lie.
I will. Do not worry, Mel. I will. Thank you for your concern.
Otherwise, I will head back,
Yeah.
think over things, decide who I want to try to approach later.
And I think with that, I would want to end the session, having set the scene for our adventure in the city.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of plot threads to tug on and go for. See
Oh
what they
yes,
unravel.
and they're all connected. And if we want to ascertain something, we will have to do that. But to do that, we must do that. To obtain that, we have to obtain.
Oh
Hey.
yeah, the fetch quest chain begins.
Oh yes, it's an imbroglio, or it could lead to an imbroglio. Oh well.
Yes. I think with that, everyone may say their goodbyes, and then I would end the stream.
A lot of.
Goodbye. Have a
Bye
nice weekend.
bye.
Till next time.
Yeah, have a good night, guys.
Till the next one, have a good
Yeah.
one, everyone.